Hello, good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back to my Opinion Matters. So, this is Sir Wilson inviting you to join me in another round of discussion here in on the this portion. My Opinion Matters. So, how was your day, my dear friends? So, I'm inviting you if you have questions and suggestions, or if in case that you are new in this channel, every Saturday, actually, I'm doing a live stream here sa aking YouTube channel. It's John Padillon. Actually, this live stream is a learning discussion based on facts and opinion. And every Saturday, from 4 o'clock to 5 p.m., I am actually discussing different current issues that people are talking about all over social media and internet. And today's, my friends, those who are tuning in, good afternoon, welcome back. Kamusta naman ang araw ninyo? I hope that you are okay. So we have to thank God for all the blessings that we receive. And we have to thank God and always remember that God loves you. Yes, kasi we are still healthy and we are still alive. That is why we have to thank God. So welcome back, my friends. For those who are new in this, in watching this, you are actually watching My Opinion Matters. All right, and every Saturday I am doing a live stream dito lang sa YouTube channel ko. It's John Padillon. So folks, today we shall have a very, sabi natin, interesting topic to discuss. And we're going to discuss about the educational system or ang education in the Philippines. We know the fact that there was a very big news, no, coming from the DepEd Secretary, Secretary Briones, yesterday when she told us that from August 24, the reopening of classes will be on October 5. So that is actually one of the, actually that is the issue that we're going to tackle, no, for today's discussion. But before I move or before I go further, no, let us go back, no, to the discussion last Saturday, just in case that you were not able to watch the discussion. Last Saturday, actually, it was a very fruitful discussion. Last Saturday, I discussed all about Filipino values, and we had a very a good discussion wherein I enumerated what are the positive values of the Filipinos. And also in the generalization of that discussion, it is very important that this time of pandemic, we need to be human being. That is why part of that, we need to exercise frequently and manifest our Filipino values. So this Filipino values, it reflects actually our core. These are the core. This make us actually, these values make us true Filipino, no? It is our identity. That is why dapat tayong maging tao, magpakatao sa panahon ng pandemic, no? And that was a very good discussion last Saturday. Just in case, my friends, you were not able to watch the live discussion last Saturday, you just after this you can check out my channel. It's John Padillon, and you can watch actually the replay of that discussion that I did last Saturday. And today, folks, no, kanina it was a good day kasi ang taas ng araw, but this time medyo umuulan na sa labas. But I hope that you will continue to tune in, friends, and continue to join me in the discussion for today. All right. So, my dear friends, if you have questions, if you have suggestions, actually, you can join later on. You can type in your comments, no, and your suggestions dito sa ating comment box para ikaw ay ay makasama sa ating discussions. And later on, my friends, I'm going to read your comments or your questions and suggestions. Okay, so let us begin our discussion for today. All right, now, okay. All right. So, ayan. First, let us take a look, no, what is already the update, no, of the COVID cases in our country, no. Medyo magbigay muna tayo ng update. Now, according to the CNN Philippines, no, breaking Philippines report, more than 6,000 new COVID-19 cases again as total reaches 153,660. So let us look at the recovery. So according to that data, to this news, there are already 71,405 recoveries. And as of yesterday, okay, based from this data, there are already 153,660 cases of COVID cases in the Philippines, wherein 6,216 are actually new cases. Okay, there are actually 16 new deaths. Kaya yung death natin is actually 2,442, and we have the raw recovery 71,405. Okay, and meron tayong nadagdag sa mga recoveries na yan. Alright, so that is actually the latest news about the COVID cases in the Philippines. And you know, my friends, in Southeast Asia, we are already the number one, na we already surpassed Indonesia. The other week, Indonesia ang nasa first rank, but this time Philippines has already occupied the first rank as to the number of cases of COVID-19 in Southeast Asia. And we know, folks and friends, that still ang COVID-19 ay nandyan pa rin, no? And we're in fact, habang tayo ay nagpo-programa ngayon, there are still countries all over the world that are still experiencing the increase of number of cases of COVID-19 cases, no, in their the kanilang mga tao or citizens, no. That is why, my dear friends, no, we really need to what? To pay attention and to really follow yung mga tinatawag nating new normal or what we call yung mga basic safety protocols that the government is actually giving us, and the government is asking us to do. Ngayon, no, last time I heard that starting today, no, those workers, those employees that will report on their work by tomorrow or today, they're already required to wear what we call, aside from face mask, your face shield, no? Isa na yan. Kasi nga, according to the expert, if you are just wearing a face mask, 80% lang ang protection mo niyan, di ba? Although you are doing the social distancing, okay, 80% lang is your protection. Whereas if you're going to wear face shield plus face mask, you will have 90% or 99% of not being infected by COVID-19. So let us continue to follow and practice the safety protocols that the government has given to us in order for us to not to be infected or contracted the virus COVID-19. Okay, so it was already given to us by the DepEd, no, that the classes, okay, the reopening of classes will be in October 15. But let us take the condition, no. Let's try to look at the condition of education in this pandemic time. So ano ba talaga yung the condition, the situation of education, not only in the Philippines, but also in the world, no? Ano na ba ang kalagayan ng edukasyon sa buong mundo? Because we know the fact that education is very important. Okay? And this education, sabi nga nila nung isang famous na philosopher, we cannot really delay education because education is part of our life. Okay, every day we are learning new things, no? And we know naman talaga kasi some are telling na education daw is not only learned from the four corners of our classroom. That is true. That education is not only exclusively learned of our student in the school, but then yung ating mga experiences, that is also education. Okay? But we are talking about formal education here. That is why it's very important for us to know what was the condition of education in the world, not only in the Philippines in this time of pandemic. So according to UNESCO, all right? So sabi ng UNESCO, as of March 30, they estimate that 87% of the world's students, that is 1.5 billion learners, have been affected by school closures. Okay? And this data was actually taken last March 30. So right now, okay, right now, nag-increase pa yan into 1.7 billion learners. So later on, you will see some of the schools, some of the countries that despite of this pandemic, they managed to open their schools, no, for their children. And most of these countries are doing face to face. So the question is, how do they manage to conduct the face to face classes in the midst or this during pandemic time? Okay? Kasi yung ibang mga bansa nag-open na sila as early as July, June, okay, last July, meron ng mga bansa dito sa Europa at sa Asia na nagbukas na ng edukasyon, no, ng mga eskwelahan at ng mga negosyo. So that is one interesting thing that we need to know, and later on that will be part of our discussion, no? So as UNESCO, talagang makikita natin na this pandemic has given us a great challenges, no? A great problem in not only in education but in the socio-economic aspect of human life. Tala lang natin yan, no? Ang taas na ngayon ng unemployment rate, no, sa ating bansa at sa buong mundo. And right now, nakikita natin, no, na ang dami ang nawawalan ng trabaho simply because the businesses, including the school, the service sectors in particular, have greatly affected by this COVID-19. So we really need to find a better economic stimulus plan, okay, economic solution in order to help these people who have lost their job. So in my opinion, siguro yung ayuda, makakasapat siya for now, but that is just a temporary solution. It is only a band-aid solution. So we have to be creative and innovative of what particular, effective, long-lasting, sustainable economic solution that we will give, no? That we will implement in order to help these people, our brethren, our brothers and sisters who are right now have lost their job due to this COVID-19 pandemic. So let us continue. According to Cocopeya, a total of 409,757 teachers, faculty, and school personnel in private educational institutions nationwide are currently affected by the enhanced community quarantine according to the Coordinating Council of Private Educational Associations. So nakita natin, this is actually a context in the Philippines. This is a reality. Okay, hundreds of schools, if not thousands of schools, private schools here in the Philippines were already closed. Hindi lang sila closed dahil MECQ for the fact that kumonti ang kanilang enrollment. That's why marami talaga ang mga private schools ang nagsasara na permanently, not because of this MECQ. These private schools, hundreds of schools have closed, diba? Their schools because they experience low turnout of enrollees. Okay? That is why they are actually asking for the government to give them or to include them in the ayuda, diba? Kasi ako, I'm also a teacher in the private school, in a Catholic school, but I did not receive any financial help coming from the government. How much more the other teachers who have the same situation and condition as like me, no? So we really need help, no? Yes, it's very easy to say that you have to find for another job. Okay, I heard one senator, di humanap na ibang trabaho. For me, that is what we call, say, you are not exercising what we call sympathy or empathy. That is non-empathic way of dealing the problem. Actually, it is not even a solution. Okay? Kapag ang isang tao ay naghihirap na, okay, that person is already, or those people are already suffering because they have lost their job, and right now they are what? Experiencing anxieties because of the stress that they are experiencing. So yung kanilang mental health is already at risk. It is already affected. Tapos you will say na maghanap na lang ng trabaho, nakita nyo, that is not empathic. Walang empathy doon. Okay? What we really need right now is a comprehensive program on how can you help those people who have lost their job. That is why you have to be very creative. You have to be what? Transparent. And you have to be what? Sensitive of the things that you're going to utter to most especially people who are suffering right now. Kasi ang kailangan talaga nila is hindi sapat yung kaawaan eh. Kailangan talaga nila is tulong. Kasi kung bibigyan lang natin sila ng financial assistance, mauubos lang yan. In a couple of weeks or months, mauubos yung 8,000, mauubos yung 6,000, no? But so what we need right now is to really help those people to get employed again. Kaya nga ako hinihintay ko, no? I'm waiting for this government official na magbigay ng pronouncement about TESDA. I have not heard any interview about TESDA. Where is TESDA right now? And what is TESDA is doing right now? Okay? So this is the best time that the TESDA should work. I know that the TESDA is doing something, pero suportahan natin yung TESDA. Dagdagan natin ang pondo ng TESDA. Kasi we really need to increase the skills of this displaced workers. Kasi kung wala na, kung let's say for example yung mga nagtatrabaho sa eskwelahan, yung mga nagtatrabaho sa hotels, di ba? So these are the displaced workers. Okay? Lalo na kung hindi matutuloy talaga yung pagbubukas ng edukasyon sa October 5, mas lalong dadami ang displaced workers. Okay? Di ba? So nakikita natin. So what we need right now is really a comprehensive plan. Okay? Magtulungan yung mga government agencies such as TESDA, pangunahan ng TESDA, at suportahan niya ng Department of Labor and Employment na maglagay na sila, no? They have to start a program na we will train those displaced workers and equip them with new skills. so that they can be allowed to be integrated in the workforce. That is what we need to do. Di ba? And we don't need what? Yung non-empathic, mga walang non-empathic, mga insensitive na mga pahayag sa media na binibigay nyo, na hindi nyo kasi nararanasan na ang dami-daming tao ngayon ang nawawalan na ng trabaho. So we have to be really sensitive and we have to show empathy. That is one of the Filipino values that we need to practice at present, no? So I'm just waiting for pronouncement, no, from the DOLE, from the TESTA, a collaborative work or effort that will help Filipinos, the displaced workers, to acquire new skills so that they can work again. Okay? Kasi yan ang isa sa mga this is one of the problems sa pandemic, no? Anyway, we're talking about the condition of education. So, nakita natin na talagang itong pandemyang ito, okay, almost all different aspects in our life, okay, ay affected talaga ng COVID na ito. Okay? Hello friends, those who are watching, good afternoon. So you can please type in your comments, your questions, and later on at the latter part of this session, I will read all your comments, your shout out, and your questions. Okay? So good afternoon. So really, this COVID-19, no? Alam natin na yung virus na to, wala siyang brain. The virus has no brain. According to WHO, we human being, we are the ones who have brain. So we can actually outsmart this virus. Wala namang brain yan wala namang matay ang virus na yan Okay? So tayong mga tao, we have the capacity to outsmart the virus. And the government actually has given us all the protocols on how we can prevent from being contracted or infected by this virus. But the problem is we don't listen. We are not taking it seriously. Okay? So this is now what is happening to us. Because we are just sitting on it and we are not taking it seriously. So all of us are actually affected by this COVID-19. And right now, millions of Filipinos are already jobless, and there is a tendency that it will increase if the education will not open on October 5. Okay? It's very easy to say maghanap ka ng trabaho, but that is insensitive statement. What we are waiting is to present a program. Okay? Nandiyan ang DOLE, nandiyan ang TESDA, and other government agencies that can help Filipino workers to be equipped of new skills so that they can go back to work and they can be integrated to other industries. Okay? So nakita natin yan. Another reality, around 380,000 students have transferred from private institution to public schools for the upcoming school year in the wake of the corona disease. So nakita natin, bakit ganito? Kasi nga marami ang nawalan ng trabaho. And it's very practical right now, okay, that you enroll actually your children to the public school. Okay? Pero, bakit marami pa rin ang nagpapa-enroll sa private school? Because nakikita natin yung tiwala ng mga magulang sa mga private school. Okay? So isa rito yung tiwala, di ba? The trust. And later on makikita natin sa example, bakit itong bansa na ito ay hindi nagsara? The only country in the world na hindi nagsara kahit na ang taas ng pandemya. The cases of COVID-19 patients are actually rising in Europe, but this country did not close the economy and the education. And right now, sila yung pinakamababa ang case as compared sa mga bansang nagsara. So what is the technique of that country? Okay? What is the strategy that they use? Baka pwede natin gamitin yan. Minsan magtatanong ka di ba? Bakit yung ibang bansa nagagawa? Bakit tayo hindi? Perhaps, siguro kasi napakadaming matatalinong Pilipino. Di ba? Pero bakit gano'n, no? Palagi tayong pumapalpak sa implementations. So what is really the problem and where is the problem? Okay? Kasi, if you're going to do some research, ang daming mga eskwelahan na bukas na In Southeast Asia, according to Secretary Briones, it is only the Philippines and Cambodia who have not opened or reopened the classes. But the other schools in Southeast Asia nag-open. In Europe, ang dami na nag-open. Diba? Ang China nag-open na, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong. Okay? And they are practicing strictly the protocols. Okay? Sa atin, what we are asking is not a face-to-face because we have to respect the pronouncement of the president. Okay? Sa atin, we are asking for the blended or flexible learning. But I don't understand why many until now do not understand the principle of blending and flexible learning. Nandun pa rin sila. They're still worried. Kasi hindi naman tayo. It is already a fact that there will be no face-to-face learning because the Department of Education has already given us, okay, the template or the framework, the process and program that magkakaroon tayo ng flexible blended learning. Ibig sabihin, you don't need to go to school. Doon ka lang sa bahay mo at doon ka mag-aaral. And you will be supported by modules and other educational materials. Hindi nga din yung magdedepende masyado sa sa internet connection Diba? Kasi in the blended approach, hindi naman most of the time o araw-araw kailangan mong mag-internet o online class, hindi. Okay? Kasi may module. But that is one question, kung handa na ba yung module. Okay? At kung handa ba yung module, ano ba yung quality ng module na maipoproduce? Lalo na yung test run the other day, all of us have witnesses na kung saan mali pa yung grammar. There's a problem with the grammar. Diba, na na-broadcast nila, and that is additional concern that the DepEd should pay attention at present. Nakawawa naman, no? Very overwhelmed na ang DepEd. Kaya tayo, anong mako-contribute natin bilang Pilipino? Diba? What can we contribute? Kasi tanggalin na natin yung ating ugali na kasakiman. Maraming Pilipino sakim because they're actually following the desires of their flesh, the urge. Nandun pa rin kayo sa id. Hindi kayo pumunta sa ego and super ego. Pag-aralan niyo yung psychoanalytic ni Sigmund Freud. Okay? Now, number 4, due to the pandemic, the total number of enrollees for the school year 2021 from public, private, and local colleges and state universities is just 59.81% of the last year's 27.7 million enrollees, or at 16,610,703. So nakita natin, hindi natin na-hit pa yung we have not hit and we have not surpassed yung total number of enrollment of last year. Kasi it is understandable na marami talagang mga magulang ang ayaw papasukin ang mga bata. Now, this is not only happening in the Philippines. As well in Europe, in America, may mga survey silang ginawa. Kasi nag-face-to-face sila doon. And the surveys, and those surveys that they have conducted revealed na talagang maraming mga magulang ang hesitant to allow their children to send their children to school. Okay? But in the Philippines, hindi naman tayo nagka-clamor. We are not actually asking for face-to-face because the DepEd has already said to us that there will be no face-to-face. So we are asking for what? The blended approach. Diba? Okay, so let us continue. So yun na nga, because of these issues, controversies, yan, and the problems that many teachers, many parents are actually telling to the requesting or sharing to the DepEd, eto na, okay, school opening moved to October 5, and it was actually given to us, announced to us yesterday, no, over the news. Okay? But anong tugon ng mga taga-private sector? So according to this, the Coordinating Council of Private Educational Associations in a statement said the private school sector is ready for the opening as the Philippine education system shifts to distance learning. Kasi, my dear friends and colleagues, bago pa yung August 24, marami ng mga private schools and universities, colleges na bukas na. They already started rolling on and conducting the online classes and the distance or blended or flexible learning. Nagsimula na yan. Okay? Kasi they need to they need to sustain, diba? The operation, because they have what? They have mouths to feed. Merong mga siniswelduhan yan. Meron pa rin cost ng operation kahit na wala tayong face-to-face na classroom o face-to-face classes. There is still operating costs, and you still have to give salaries for your employees in the private schools, universities, and colleges. That is why, as early as August 5, all right, nagsimula na lahat yan. Nag-open na sila. Alright. Nagsipag-open na yan last time. May mga nag-open na nga ng July. Kung di ako nagkakamali. Pero August 4 yan. First week of August, marami talaga na ang nag-open. And they need to do that because they need to sustain the operations, and they need to compensate. They need what? They need revenue and income in order to sustain the operation and to compensate for the losses due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Okay? So, maraming mga eskwelahan pa rin sa private school ang nag-ooperate. Okay? Kaya, according to Secretary Briones, sabi niya kahapon, and I quote, those schools daw in the private schools who have already started their operation, they can continue already. Okay? So, pero ang public school, talagang they will open hopefully on October 5. Alam mo naman in the Philippines, baka yung October 5 niya maging January yan. Diba? Kasi there are few senators who are requesting na buksan daw ang edukasyon next year na, o yung isa October. Kaya okay naman, October 5, may isang senator, hindi ko napapangalanan. Pero yung iba, pati yung ibang mga organization sa mga public, mga teachers organization, gusto nila next year. And then yung mga ibang mga maraming parents din from the public, at marami din naman sa private, na gusto nila next year. But anong gagawin mo? You are not, is that a proper, actually, is that a proper solution to delay the opening of the class? Eh, ikaw na nga, tayo na nga lang, Cambodia na nga lang hindi nag-o-open. The rest of the world, nag-open na sila. So ano ibig sabihin noon? Mahalaga pa ba sa atin ang edukasyon, my dear friends? So we have to balance the interest of the economy, the interest of safety and security, and other sociological aspect of human being. Isama mo na ang psychological aspect. Di ba? Kailangan binabalanse yan lahat. Okay? Alright. Ngayon, what are the reasons? So ito. Ano ba yung reasons? So according to the PhilStar Global, okay, dated August 12, last 2020. So these are the reasons why they urge to postpone the reopening of classes. And they're actually clamoring. This is all actually ito ay realistic, no? At the same time, it is doable. Na talagang yung pag-o-open, it should not be centralized. Ako, I agree on that. Kasi hindi naman pare-pareho yung number of cases sa buong Pilipinas. Okay? Kung titignan natin yung pag-aaral ng UP, okay, ang Batanes nga wala namang COVID. Bakit di pa sila payagan na mag-open ng school? Diba? If Batanes, it has no COVID, and at the same time, if they are already ready and prepared, why don't give them the leeway or the go signal to conduct the classes on August 24? And in the same way, kung titignan natin yung pag-aaral ng UP, kasi yung UP, no, they made a map. They produce a COVID map. Makikita natin what are the particular provinces and region in the Philippines na merong talagang, sabihin natin na high risk pa, medium risk, and low risk, and no risk at all. Of course, dapat man tayo may risk, no? So makikita natin doon. So makikita natin na hindi the entire Philippines, meron talaga naman na mga probinsya, okay, na wala pa, na mababa or manageable nila yung cases ng COVID. Ngayon, yung mga hotspot ng COVID, isa na tayo doon, ang NCR. Okay, yung mga naka-under MECQ ngayon, tayo yung napakadaming cases ng COVID. Diba? Pero, I support this one, consider regional resumption, kasi nga, the fact that every provinces, every regions have different situations and conditions in terms of COVID infections. And at the same time, maganda rito, they will recognize, no? They will recognize that every regions, every provinces, they have their own way of managing the problem. Okay? Kasi dati centralized. So ngayon, parang nagiging regional na. So yun ang ano dito. So they're actually asking for the DepEd to consider yung regional resumption. So kung diyan sa Region 1, example lang, kung sa Region 1, maganda na, mababa na, o wala ng case ng COVID, example lang, I'm not saying na wala na, pero meron pa rin sila. Kung manageable na contain na nila yung case na pababa na dyan, they flatten the curve sa Region 1, and then the government has successfully managed or controlled the problem, baka pwede na silang mag-open ng kanilang education. If not face-to-face, baka pwede silang online or blended, di ba? So yun ang inaano natin dito. So yung resumption and the reopening of the classes should be done in a regional basis. Kasi yan naman mga local officials na nakakaalam kung ano talaga ang condition, sitwasyon ng COVID sa kanilang lugar. And when we talk about education, di ba yung mga local supervisor, yung mga local education managers dyan, sila din ang nakakaalam kung paano yung distribution, yung pagpiprinta, yung budget, di ba, sa kanilang mga lugar. Okay? So, yan. So, according to this senator, sabi niya, forcing schools to open this August will only defeat the purpose of education. Let us accept the fact that we are not fully ready and it will not be wise to simultaneously open school year 2020-21. But the question ko dito, kailan ka maging ready? If you are saying that we are not ready, so what do you need to do and for us in order for us to become ready? Okay? Oh. So anong dapat nating gawin? Yes, may ginagawa tayo. We're doing actually things for us to become ready. But siguro it's about time na we have to increase, to intensify our readiness. Baka we need to change a plan. Diba? Baka we have to change our perspective. We have to change the framework. Baka what we are using right now is no longer effective. Baka it's about time that we have to consult the other countries and see their best practices. Bakit nakapag-open sila ng edukasyon kahit mayroong pandemic? Okay? Areas with higher health risk should be allowed to start the school year at a later date, as even the parents' livelihood are also affected. Not only will postponement of school opening favor teachers and learners, the prevailing health, livelihood, and internet connectivity situation should all be considered by the DepEd. In this point, I admire President Duterte kasi when I watch his SONA, talagang nagbigay siya ng mandato, ng ultimatum sa mga telecom, no, that they have to really improve their services given to the Filipinos. Maganda yan eh. I admire him for that. Pero ang problema diyan kasi ang pagtatayo ng mga tore, 'di ba? Pag ikaw ay nakikipag-negotiate na sa local government, doon nagkakaproblema. Okay? Kaya ako, last time I heard over the news na merong kautusan na hindi na sila dadaan, no? Hindi na sila dadaan sa ang DILG nang magbibigay ng permit. So maganda yun. Kasi pag humingi ka pa ng permit dyan sa mga barangay or other local government officials, di ba? Or mga employees, yung mga in charge sa mga giving of permits, di ba hindi natin maiiwasan yung ang tagal. Nandiyan may mga red tape, di ba? Kaya maganda yung ginawa ng DILG. Pag nagbibigay na sila ng go signal, yung mga telecom na yan can actually put up their cell sites. Kasi kailangan natin actually 100,000 cell sites. Kasi talagang if you're going to study yung situation ng ating internet, okay, as compared to internet all over the world, meron dito tawag na digital divide. May gap. Kasi yung mga bansang mayayaman, ang lalakas ng internet nila. Pero tayo mga bansa na naghihikahos, sinasabi ng iba, daw tayo, developing countries. Okay? So, hindi pa tayo ganun kayaman daw. Okay? Ang hina sa atin ng serbisyo ng internet. Pero, nagbabayad tayo ng service. Mahal yung singil ng serbisyo. Diba? So, it means they have the money. Kasi may nakokolekta ka. At mahal yung serbisyo mo. Mahal nga ang internet dito sa Pilipinas as compared to other countries in Asia and in the world. So, ibig sabihin, kung may collection ka, you have the income, you have the means to improve your service or the service that you're giving to the Philippines. So, we are entitled to the best or to the quality services that this telecom will give us. And the part that talagang I really admire the president, talagang yung kanyang political will Hindi matatawaran dyan, no? Then ito, members of the ACT, mga Teachers Association to, sounded that alarm over the lack of clear and comprehensive health measure from the government for teachers, students, school workers, and parents. Teachers aren't the only ones strained by DepEd stubborn but poorly backed school opening plans. Even principals are affected. They no longer know how to make do with the small budget of their school to fund the cost of the learning continuity plan. So nakikita natin yung problema, no? Yung budget na naman. Okay? And I'm sure naman, pagdating sa budget, because meron naman allotted budget for the different regions. And I'm sure the DepEd naman will find a way to release that budget kasi there is a sense of urgency that the budget to be released to the different regions and provinces in order for them to complete na the reproductions of the module. Kasi yun ang magiging basis of learning, di ba? Lalo na sa mga probinsya na may hinang internet. Now, hindi ko naman maintindihan, okay? Pwede naman natin pasimplihin ng lahat. Kasi kung titignan natin, no, kung pag-usapan natin ang internet, okay? So I'll show you something. Ang Pilipinas, okay, in terms of internet, yan. Which countries use social media the most? So according to this data, galing sa Global Digital Report, as of 2018, Philippines has the highest social media usage rate in the world. Ang tanong, is it possible for you to use social media without connectivity? Di ba hindi? So meaning to say, meron tayong connectivity at nakalagay dito, tignan nyo, users in the Philippines spend average of 3 hours and 57 minutes. Pinakamataas siya. Pangalawa tayo sa Thailand sa napakatagal actually na gumagamit ng internet on social media. And 67 million residents in the Philippines. 67 million in the Philippines. We have access to Facebook and while another 10 million surf Instagram. So nakita natin, 67 million ang merong connectivity. Regalo ba karaming Pilipino? O more or less 108 million. So 67 million ng mga Pilipino may connectivity. Diba? And actually, what's good about this, pwede natin gamitin, diba? We can use actually Facebook para sa ating pag-aaral. So you have, that is part of what we call online, yung blended learning natin. Kailangan mo lang naman is yung Facebook mo and Messenger mo, you just create a Messenger group for your student, tapos it will be, they will be given, your student will be given or receive module. Okay. So yung mga mahihirap na part ng module, you can explain that to your student using Facebook kasi hindi mo naman kailangan ng strong connectivity pag Facebook ka. But the problem is, many of the schools are using what? Zoom, Google Meet, okay, yung iba-iba pa mga platform na itong mga bagay na to ay nangangailangan talaga ng magandang connection. Sabi nga nung director namin, robust connection. Diba? Pero syempre, to make it simple, kung talagang ang problem is connectivity, you can use actually the Messenger and the Facebook. O kung math teacher ka, diba? Nahirapan yung bata sagutan ng module. O di sulat mo yung formula step by step. How did you arrive to this answer? Kung teacher, how did you compute step 1 to step 5? Picturean mo yon tapos isend mo dun sa bata. O tas i-chat ka niya through Messenger. O kung ano pa yung problema. So, pwede siya we can make it simple. As long as the module is there, meron kang connection sa Facebook. Sa Facebook naman, hindi naman kailangan ng grandiosang connection yan. Sa Messenger, hindi kailangan dyan ng talagang malakas na connection. Kasi you can text, kung hindi ka makakall, di mag-text ka. And you can send pictures or even audio sa Messenger. See? So, siguro isa to sa mga dapat natin tignan, no? Kumanap tayo ng platform that will be suitable for low connectivity. Kasi nakikita ko problema rito, yung mga probinsya, yung mga far-flung areas, yung mga remote areas in the Philippines, talagang ang hina ng connections nila. Hindi dahil nire-romanticize ko. I am not romanticizing the problem. Okay? Hindi ko niro-romanticize yung problema. This is reality in the Philippine education that many places, remote places, far-flung places in the Philippines, they don't have connection or they have poor connections. But we have to classify. Kaya nga ang DepEd, di ba, nagkaroon sila ng mga pag-aaral. Ilan sa mga teachers nila ang merong laptop o lampas naman ng 70% may laptop eh. O ilan ba yung mga estudyante lang may cellphone? Lumampas naman ng 60% merong cellphone. 67 million nga ang may nagte-Facebook eh. Makakapag-Facebook ka ba ng walang internet? So as you can see, my friends, diba, based on the fact, if there are 67 million Filipinos who have access in the social media, this can be used as a tool for the blended learning. We have to use the Facebook. Kung ako teacher, post ko yung explanation sa isang mahirap na question sa module. Diba? We have to make it simple. Okay? Hindi yung sasabihin natin, magsara na lang. Kasi yung approach natin, the way we tackle, the way we solve the problem, the approach is very important. Okay? Sa isang bata, kapag nagkamali yung bata, madali sabi mo sa bata, you have to sit down, di ba? O kaya, huwag ka mag-cellphone. Okay, part yan eh. Yan yung reward at saka yan yung punishment, di ba? Sa behavioral psychology. So if you have done something bad, you will receive punishment. Okay? If you have done something good, you will receive a reward. Yan, sa behavioral psychology yan. Pero what is happening right now, yung approach natin in dealing the problem, okay, kailangan binabalansin natin yung lahat. Madali kasing magpasara. Madali kasing sabihin natin, stop na yan. Pero by doing that, don't you think you are being creative? Diba? Pag nagpasara ka, pag nagpa-delay ka, o nagpa-stop ka, is that a creative way? Nasa na yung sense of innovation natin? Nasa na yung sense of creativity natin? And that is the purpose of education. Tinuturuan tayong maging innovative. That is one function of education. Education taught us to become creative and innovative. The other countries have reopened their schools. In Southeast Asia, nag-open na sila. Nag-face-to-face pa nga sila. But in our country, the DepEd is only asking for face-to-face. For blended. Hindi nga face-to-face, mga friends. Diba? Ang sinasabi ng DepEd, blended. Module. Kung wala kang capacity na mag-online, mag-module ka. And we can use the social media. We can use the Facebook and Messenger. It only needs low or minimum connectivity. But we need to be creative. So the approach is, in dealing with the problems, we need to be creative. Kailangan lumabas yung ating creativity, so that we will balance everything. Okay? All right. Now, let us continue. So, what are the schools Okay, you can Google this out. There are many schools, pero these are the selected schools which I was able to research over the net. Oh, schools are reopening in part of Europe and Asia with some dropping social distancing measures that limit full-time schooling like scattered attendance, the Washington Post reported. Okay? So may mga limitations yung kanilang pag-open, no? Oh, ayan. So you have the Taiwan. Oh, noong February 25, the Taiwan reopened their school, extending winter break by 10 days. So, student, look at it. So, may naglagay sila ng mga harang. That's very innovative, di ba? They're very creative. But they managed to do the face-to-face. Okay? Pero ako, if you're going to ask me, okay, ayoko ng face-to-face kasi the danger is still out there. Kaya ako, I'm supporting the blended learning. All we need to do is to support the government and let us trust the government. Diba? Ang problema kasi, reklamo ka ng reklamo, wala ka namang nako-contribute. Maraming ganyan dito. Always complaining. Always giving complaint, always antagonizing the government. Pero pag tinanong ka, what did you do? What did you contribute to the society? Okay, Japan also open. Nag-reopen siya noong April. And look at it, nandiyan yung social distancing. So sumusunod ang mga Japanese sa protocols. Kaya naman, napakababa ng case na nila. Nag-improve. So that's very important, no? That we have to follow the protocols. We have to really listen to the government. We have to support and we have to trust. Now, we cannot blame sometimes if we have lost our trust to the government kasi ang dami nga naman nilang issue. Isa na dyan yung corruption sa PhilHealth, di ba? Napakasakit nun. Ang laki-laki ng kinakaltas sa aming PhilHealth tapos pala kinukuha lang pala ng iba. We deserve a better quality kind of service. Kasi nagbabayad naman kami ng tama. Diba? O, what else? O, aside from Japan, nandyan ang Thailand. O, ang Thailand. Ang dami dating, di ba ang Thailand nag-reopen na ng July. And look at it. Students are actually wearing face masks. Diba po? O, let us continue. O, Vietnam. Nag-reopen ng Vietnam noong May. And look at them. Oh, students are actually wearing face masks. Naiwanan naman tayo ng Vietnam. Okay? Now, this is different. Ang Israel. Okay, nag-open sila ng maaga ng May. Tapos ang nangyari, dumami yung cases ng ng infected ng COVID-19 sa mga bata, kaya nagsara sila uli. Oh, yun naman kasi ang agad lang. Kumbaga, ang naging problema sa Israel, nagkaroon ng lax. Nagkaroon yung mga tao naging relax. So most of them or many of them they did not follow already the protocols. Kaya yun na-infect talaga. Kaya kailangan natin ng pagsunod, the obedience, di ba? So ang nangyari sa Israel, nagsara sila uli kasi ang daming na-infect nung after na nag-open sila ng school ng May. Diba? Okay, what else? O ang New Zealand, look at New Zealand. Diba? O, nag-partially open sila noong April. Alright? O, and then aside, you have the Sweden. Ayan. Ito, this is something that I admire, the Sweden. So, remember kanina sinabi ko, merong isang bansa sa mundo na hindi nag-close ng kanilang eskwelahan at ekonomiya amidst this pandemic. Ang Sweden is the country that I am referring. Okay? Ang Sweden, they never closed the school during the pandemic, and they did not close the economy. And atong Sweden ina-admire to ng American and other European countries. Okay? Kasi kung ko-compare mo sa data nila, okay, ang Sweden hindi sila nagsara. Oo. Pero kung titingnan natin yung data, tingnan niyo yung daily COVID-19 deaths per 100,000 by countries, ang Sweden ang pinakamababa. Ang US, UK, Germany, France, lahat ito nagsara, nag-lockdown to mga to. Pero ang Sweden hindi. Pero tingnan nyo, ang Sweden ang pinakamababa. Di ba? Kaya na ina-admire to ni Trump eh. What else? Tingnan natin sa sa daily COVID cases. Nakita nyo yung taas ng US, no? Pero ang Sweden na pinakamababa. So ang US, I'm sorry. Okay, nawala. Ayan. So yung US and other countries na nag-lockdown o nagpatupad sila ng stringent measure, iba sa kanila nag-lockdown, di ba? Mataas yung mga cases nila. Pero ang Sweden na hindi nagpa-lockdown, okay, hindi nagsara ekonomiya at saka eskwelahan, pinakamababa pa. So what is the secret of Sweden? That is something that we need to know. Di ba? That is something that we need to know. So the principle of hands-off approach. Okay? Now, this is what I like about Sweden. Okay? Ito yung sinabi nila, no? Sabi dito. Okay, so this was taken from the Mail Online, August 15, 2020. Okay? Sabi, it is necessary to keep a balance between stopping the epidemic and keeping people healthy. The Swedish approach relies on trust rather than the enforcement, going to the heart of how Swedes see their society. See? So this is good about Sweden. Yung government, they trust the people. And vice versa, reciprocal relationship, yung mga tao nagtitiwala din sa pamahalaan nila. So my dear friends, siguro ito yung kailangan natin. We really need to trust each other. Diba? So yung trust na yon, hindi lang siya enough na trust lang. Dapat saluhan mo ng aksyon. Diba? So the trust will not be enough if you will not do an action. Diba? Ipakita mo nagtitiwala ka. And what are the actions that you need to do and to show that you really trust the government? Likewise, the government should do something to win back the trust of the people. So napakaganda ng ginawa ng Sweden, no? The Swedish. These are the nationality, the national of Sweden, the Swedish. They call themselves the Swedish. Okay? So nandun yung trust ng tao at yung trust ng gobyerno sa tao. Meron silang tinatawag natin na reciprocal relationship. Diba? Nandun yung trust. Diba? Harmonious yung kanilang relationship din. Now, to live in a democracy, you need trust, said Morgan Olofsson, spokesman for Sweden's Civil Contingency Agency, which is responsible for public safety, emergency management, and civil defense. The government must trust the people and the people must trust the government. Ayun, napakaganda. So my dear friends, siguro it's about time that we have to do this, no? We have to trust the government, okay? And we have to do an action. Action showing cooperation, that you are cooperating. Diba? Let us go away. Sabi ko nga in last Saturday discussion, diniscuss ko yung principle of regionalistic at saka yung personalistic. Kasi nandun pa rin tayo, marami pa rin mga Pilipino ang may attitude ng regionalistic. Yung masyado kang loyal sa in a particular region. Kami, yung word na kami okay lang. 'Di ba? Kasi yung sinasabi natin, kami okay lang. Pag sinabi mong kami, kayo okay, how about the others? Are they okay like you? Di ba hindi? So, itong panahon ng pandemic, di ba? Kailangan talaga yung approach natin, di ba, sa problemang ito, let us go away with regionalistic. Dapat yung in terms of cooperation, dapat maging nationalistic ang approach. Na ang bawat Pilipino, iisipin natin, ang ginagawa natin kahit malaki o maliit ay para sa bansa. Diba? Kasi kung if something bad will happen to this country, all of us will perish. Kasi this is the only Philippines in this entire planet. Diba? In the face of the earth, there is only one Philippines, the nation for Filipinos, the land of the Filipinos. Kaya, it's about time, isipin natin, ang ginagawa ba natin ay para lang sa ating sarili? Ang ginagawa ba natin ay para lang sa ating pamilya? Ang ginagawa natin ay para lang ba sa ating community o kaya sa ating locality or region? Dapat ang isipin natin, ang ginagawa ba natin ay para sa ikabubuti ng lahat? Okay? There should be inclusivity. Diba? Nationalistic, inclusive, lahat, let us include everybody. Kung ang isa ay naging magandang buhay, dapat lahat ay maging magandang buhay. The principle of utilitarianism, the greatest happiness for all. Diba? So, kung ganun tayo, isipin natin palagi yung nationalistic approach na yung simpleng paglabas ng bahay nang wala namang non-essential, maiiwasan. Yung tamang pagsusuot ng ating face mask, ng face shield, kung gagawin natin yan, nakakatulong ka sa buong bansa. O, diba? Another problema natin that I discussed last Saturday, yung personalistic. Masyado tayong personal. Diba? Halos personalistic ang approach. So, dapat ngayon, maging impersonal tayo. Kasi, dapat sabay-sabay tayong we have to heal as one, to move as one. Tulad ng sinabi ko last time. Diba? And look at the Swedish people. They trust their government and the government trusts the people. Kaya, ang baba ng kanilang, although may cases sa kanila, pero as compared to other European countries, mababa yung kanila. And they managed to continue the economy and also the opening of the operation of the schools. Okay? Siguro it's about time na talagang suportahan natin ang gobyerno. Wala namang perfectong institution, there's no perfect government. Diba? But the government and the government agencies are actually encouraging us. They are already pleading that we have to support them. Hindi pwede kasi ditong pagalingan. Dapat pare-pareho tayo rito na magtulungan. Diba? Hindi pwedeng kami lang ang magaling, kayo hindi. Dapat nagtutulungan tayo. The private sectors and the public sectors should work hand in hand, diba? For the welfare of this country. And so that this COVID-19 will be erased on the face of this earth. Diba, my dear friends? Okay, I'm sorry medyo na-high blood ako doon. Now, lastly, why education is important in these pandemic times? Bakit ba mahalaga ang edukasyon? Tingnan natin mga anak natin, ano ba pinagkakabalan nila sa bahay. Okay? Kasi may mga survey nagsasabi, talagang ang mga bata ngayon, engaged sila sa mga computer at saka mobile games. So kung i-delay pa natin yung pasok, gusto nyo ba yung mga anak nyo ay maglaro na lang ng computer or mobile games? How sure are we na natuturuan natin ang bata na nagbabasa yan kahit walang klase? Diba? Kung nagtatrabaho naman ang magulang, o kaya naman kung nandiyan si magulang dahil walang trabaho, nasusubaybayan ba natin anak natin na sila ba ay naobliga ba natin sila mag-aral sa bahay? Kasi yung kailangan niya matutunan ng bata is yung self-discipline. Diba? At yan ay actually fundamental. That is one of the fundamental function of education, to transmit the culture heritage. So yung mga Filipino values, yung self-discipline, that is part of our culture as Filipinos, 'di ba? At ngayon, sa palagay ba natin kung hindi natin bubuksan yung ating pag-aaral, ang edukasyon, ang classes, palagay niyo ba mga bata matututuan nila yung self-discipline? O siguro yung mga magagaling na mga responsableng magulang matuturuan yung mga anak nila. Eh how about the others who are not responsible in nurturing their children? How will you teach self-discipline? Kasi in order para sa blended or flexible learning to become successful, kailangan makipagtulungan ang bawat isa. Ang mga bata, they have to do their part. Kailangan maging responsible sila. We need to help them to increase their self-discipline. Kasi kung module yan, talagang they can only rely on themselves. Of course, they can text anytime, message anytime their teacher. Pero most of the time, the module at siya lang ang nandyan. Of course, kung nandyan ang parents sa mga batang maliliit, nandyan ang parents. Of course, si parents magtatanong din kay teacher yan. Kasi hindi naman teacher si parents. How would he or how would she know? Di ba? So nakita natin, kailangan natin turuan yung mga bata ngayon. Let us increase their metacognition, knowing what they learn, beyond what they learn. Kailangan yan. Yung grit, lakas ng loob, tatag. Yung perseverance. Di ba lahat ito yung mga cultural heritage? In terms of values and many more. Another thing, to help individuals select social roles and to train them for the roles they have chosen. So yung mga graduating, na dapat graduate na sila at dapat mai-integrate na sila sa workforce ng Pilipinas, madedelay. Diba? Sa ibang bansa, yung mga graduating student, yung mga batang maliliit, yun ang mga pinapapasok sa school. Yung mga 10 years old and above, yun naman ang pinag-o-online nila. Kasi mas risk daw yung mga yon sa ibang mga bansa. 'Di ba? So we can actually be creative, 'di ba? Sa atin nga wala namang face to face, online at saka blended. Marami pang niayaw. Kasi sabi nila hindi pa handa. So ang tanong, kailan kayo magiging handa? Anong gagawin nyo para maging handa? Hindi pwede kasi na hanggang gano'n na lang tayo. Hindi handa. So the question is, when are you become ready? That's the question. Diba? When will you be ready? So it's about time siguro kailangan natin intensify. And part of our roles, our functions, if you are a manager, if you are a politician, siguro it's about to intensify, dagdagan. Yes, I know nagtatrabaho tayo, but we need to increase, diba? And intensify our functions and our roles so that we can bring positive effect to the welfare of this country. Diba? Then to integrate into cultural mainstream the various subcultures and identities. And last one, to serve as a source of social and cultural innovation. So yung pananatili ng bata nga sa bahay, nang sila lang, minsan walang kausap, meron na nga siyang epekto sa psychological state ng bata, sa mental health ng bata. Okay? Yung mga, natuwa sila, no? When we conducted the online learning, tuwa sila, nagkukwentuhan talaga sila sa Zoom. Kasi they have missed each other. Kasi talaga naman yung pakikipagkwentuhan mo sa ibang tao, yung iyong interaction and socialization, talagang meron siyang health effect psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Diba? Kasi we cannot live alone in this world. Okay? So we really need to what? We really need to help and to support the government. And let us do our part. Diba? Let us do our part. And nakikita ko rito, by opening the schools, we can actually support the government kasi yung schools, this is an agent of socialization. And this is also part of institution. Kung gusto natin na baguhin ang forma ng society, ang edukasyon ay epektibong pwedeng gamitin. Now, if we want people to know about the new norms, ituro yan sa school. If we want to increase the health consciousness or awareness of the people, ituturo sa school. So that is one way that the government can do. It can ask for a support to this institution, the schools, para mapalakas natin yung awareness. Yung kitawag natin na na yung kamalayan ng Pilipino tungkol sa new normal, ituturo yan sa schools. Tinuturo na actually sa school. Dito sa amin nga sa Catholic School, tinuturo na namin yan. 'Di ba? Yung healthy, 'di ba, yung healthy lifestyles, tinuturo yan sa eskwelahan. So all we need to do is to intensify, 'di ba? So we have to what? We have to make our curriculum relevant. I'm not saying that our curriculum is not relevant. Magandang curriculum ng K-12. But what we need to do is to make it more relevant, 'di ba? By intensifying lessons on new normal protocols and also about safety, security, and health. Isama na din natin ang mental health awareness, di ba? These things are actually being taught in school, but what we need right now is to intensify. So this is kung gusto natin talaga na mataas, to increase na yung awareness ng tao, pwede natin ituro eh. Pwede natin gamitin yung institutions like the schools, universities, colleges, okay? As an agent of socialization, makakatulong tayo ng malaki sa gobyerno para sa information dissemination and also to teach the people, our children, our learners, ano na ba ang mga new normals. Diba? Why do we need to intensify healthy or health subjects? Why do we need to intensify yung safety and security matters? Diba? Kahit even before, after this, kahit after this pandemic, ganun na magiging trend na talagang kailangan natin turuan sila. Kasi ang daming bata na hindi pa rin kumakain ng gulay. Marami pa rin bata na hindi alam yung tama na sanitation. Bakit? Kasi hindi naman natuturo na maayos sa bahay. Pero sa school, na ituturo yan eh. Kaso kung i-delay natin yung proseso ng pagbubukas ng eskwelahan, mas lalo lang tayong mamumroblema dyan. Because I think that is not the best solution. Okay? Diba, my friends? So, for those who have tuned in, thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much for always supporting this channel. So please, if you like this video, you share this video, and I'll see you again next Saturday for another round of discussion on this My Opinion Matters. So tandaan lang natin mga kababayan, friends, folks, friends, brothers and sisters. Okay, we need to have trust. Magtiwala tayo sa bawat isa. Magtiwala tayo sa gobyerno. Magtiwala tayo sa Department of Education. At yung pagtitiwalang yan, samahan natin ng aksyon. Na yung aksyon na yun nakatuon yun sa buong bansa at hindi lang para sa sarili mo at sa iba. Be sure that our actions will contribute to the nation building of this country, di ba? Ano yung mabibigay, ano yung magagawa natin para sa ikabubuti ng bansa? Okay? We really need that in this time of pandemic. Hindi pwedeng kami, kanya-kanya, sila magaling, kami ganyan. Hindi pwedeng ganyan. There should be an inclusive. Dapat lahat tayo ay kasama sa paglago, ba? Sa paggaling, at lahat tayo ay dapat magtulungan para mawala na ang problema natin sa COVID-19. So let us, tulad sa kanina, walang perfectong gobyerno, walang perfectong institusyon. Lahat yan ay merong imperfections. Okay? Pero we really need to do our part, our share, para maging maganda ang ating bansa. Okay? So this is Sir Wilson. Thank you very much. At hanggang sa muli natin pagkikita. See you next Saturday in another round of My Opinion Matters. So thank you and bye-bye.